I am now indebted to you because you have just made my day by selecting play on this edition of Richard's Rant. I begin as we begin always with good morning. As you know, the morning is the best part of the day, and regardless of the time that you are listening, I always wish you that energy, that vibe, that sentiment. Now, the last rant I did, I was pissed the fuck off because it was on Corpus Christi holiday and had an unwanted adventure. Well, I don't want any part of the adventure, but of course I would have accepted because that is what I'm doing now. I'm accepting a lot of shit. And most importantly, I am accepting that I do not matter. I mean, I knew I didn't matter, but I thought that I could matter, and then I realized that I really don't matter, and that even if you do matter, it still matters not. So, fuck it all. And that's where I am now. So, yeah, I was prepared to have an unwanted, unwarranted, unsolicited adventure and make the best of it. It's like you know that you're gonna get raped, right? So you might as well be proactive about it. You know that you're in, the I don't know, the rape field, the rape area, the rape adjacent place. That by going here you're going to get raped, so you are aware of the situation. So you know you might as well just be proactive about it. Yep. You could walk with, a little something to try to defend yourself, but you know in the back of your mind it's only if it's going to make sense, because you might do something to hurt the attacker, and then the attacker would have accomplices, and then they will take it back out on you, and then they would use you to send a message. So, terms and conditions apply. So, in addition to, hoping that maybe you could defend yourself, and of course, hoping you don't get raped, you also walk with your lube, you get yourself in the right frame of mind for the fuck. And you go about your business. So that's what I did, Corpus Christi. I got myself in the right frame of mind. I put everything in place. I would have taken my, what do you call these things? Antibiotics ahead of time, and just, handle everything. Ready. Rape or not, I'm gonna show the world what I got strut out there, right? And then I got fucked in a whole other different way. Yeah, because that's just how it is. So the other fuck was the pharmacy being closed when I know that they were supposed to be open, and seeing that they locked themselves inside. So that was part, the fuel really, for a whole other rant. Um, Named Corpus Christi, unless we change the name before launched. And most likely it's age more than curiosity and just learned behavior. Is that not because it quacks like a duck and walks like a duck means it's a duck. It could just be a dude in a duck furry costume on Pornhub. So not a duck, right? So, and because it's me, like, what the fuck you gonna do me, right? So I call the pharmacist to have a word with them because I was about to write them off of existing in my sphere of pharmacists. So I called them to have a word with them. But remember, I've accepted that I don't really matter. So it's not like I'm going to do it authoritative. I did it deceptive. Oh, if you prefer, cunning. Oh, surreptitiously. So, yeah. Called and deliberately said something stupid to get them off guard, which was, "Oh, hi, how you doing? Oh my goodness, I have been trying to call you all day. I thought something happened to you guys. And then yesterday when I came, you were already closed. Is everything all right? Because all sorts of stuff happening these days. So are you guys okay?" Right. So of course, by her saying that they're okay, then why the fuck you wasn't open yesterday, and why you not answer any phone today? But not in those words. She's like, "Oh, okay, I'm so glad to hear that, right? So, well, what happened yesterday? I would have walked over, and then when I got there, it seemed you all were closed." So I get the length and breadth, which was apparently the police were walking around bullying people to close because that's what we have, bullies with badges. No psychometric test to be a police, not a lot of passes, just need to want the government to pay you around $7,000 a month. Yep, so that is what happened. I don't like the way that they dealt with it, but I can't blame them for it. And so, next call was to Trinidad and Tobago Police curfew hotline question, whatever the ask is. So that one I just start raw because I know that they would be sensitive, and I would do it with an accent, so in case they think it's a reporter. So it's like, oh hi, good day. Could you tell me why the police were bullying business owners and entrepreneurs along the Eastern Main Road between Barataria and San Juan yesterday? What? Well, I have reports here that they were bullying persons. They would have locked up the owners of Happiness Supermarket, and that was at 7:45. It was long before curfew, and I personally needed to go to a pharmacy, and the pharmacist was closed by the time I got there. Although I called them before, and when I just got off the phone with them, they let me know that the police bullied them into closing. So, what am I missing? Well, sir, yeah. And what they explained to me apparently is that I was wrong. Fuck eating on a holiday. If you don't have it in your house, stop. And the pharmacies were supposed to be allowed to be open, so they'll investigate. Fuck wherever. And it's gonna lead into my first point here. We, our leadership throughout this, I don't even want to say the word crisis because I really don't think it's a crisis. It's literally nature doing what nature does. Um, I'll succumb to the term natural disaster. Yeah, because they are also nature doing what nature does, and it's disastrous, just like this. Yeah, but nobody ever really call a hurricane or a tornado a crisis. So I don't even think they call the tsunami that killed 250,000 people a crisis. So that I'll succumb to the term natural disaster. Yep. All right. So our leadership was horrible throughout this natural disaster. They were like glorified grandparents, in my opinion. No kind of leadership, and I mean, they could have sat down and just watched an Avengers movie and cut and paste something and pretend. But that was beyond them. They even turn against fucking each other. Sorry, they even turn against each other. I don't know what they fucking. I don't think whatever they fucking doing a good job at fucking them back because they seem tense. But nevertheless, they also turn us against each other because I immediately say, the pharmacist scared and they don't give a shit about nobody and they lock up and fuck me, right? But the pharmacists were scared, but they did give a shit about people and they were forced to lock up. They were also fucked. We were fucked together. These were rapists, victims, to victim shaming each other. These were slaves on the plantation having a civil war. And as genius as that is, divide and conquer, maintain power to the top and all of that, I don't even think that is a deliberate legacy. It's just a destructive byproduct of the shit that they have done. Yep. So, bet you never hear such eloquent cursing before. But the rants are really starting to become, or return to more ranty, and because I am fucking angry. So, the first story, I was happy during the rants, but yes, maybe that was making me happy. I'm not angry with the rants, obviously. Oh, if it wasn't obvious to you, don't be offended. Still made my day, because you hit play. So, the first thing that stood out to me in the newspaper, and I told you it would tie in, was that a struggling mom blames other citizens for her hardship. Because, she used to work J. Malone's, and I can't remember how much children she have, but it's not an unreasonable amount, it's not like a ghetto amount. And yes, that term is obviously stereotypical and insulting, but is a fact. And even if it is they were rich, it would still be a ghetto amount of children. Like the Gillettes, they have a ghetto amount of children. But Um, she didn't have a ghetto amount, just multiples, right? A ghetto amount, like eight, six in this day and age. Five, give or take, depending on your economic situation. Four should be the cap. After that, you're supposed to be hysterective, vectorsectomy, cutting things, but hey, whatever. So, anyway, she lost her work, she had the children, money, same shebang, same story. And she was saying, oh, because citizens are not listening to that can be her voice. Because citizens are not listening, I ain't gonna do her voice. Because we're not listening, apparently, she can't make no money, she children hungry, and it's so traumatic watching the food in the cupboard go down, and you don't know when the next gonna come back and go up, and she, right, okay, right. And I just listened to that, well, read it, and yeah, that divide and conquer. So, she not even studying what the other people going through, or the fact that because they're in the same situation like her, instead of them watching the food in the cupboard, they might be going outside and drinking beer rum, as they are doing, because someone was arrested in her community, which led to the story. She just turned on them, just like I did with the pharmacy. Yep. And the next one that stood out to me, surprisingly, the government provided 2.8 fucking million to the Olympics. I think that was a kind of Answer McCall thing that should have been done. I don't understand where the fuck we get 2.8 million to do. And if we did, then I feel it should be put into grants. I don't know how you feel about it, but that's how I feel about it. And I don't even know what the government going to get out of it, because either way Trinidad and Tobago was going to be across the athlete's crutch. So that is what it is you reach out to the business community for. Your Agostinis, your Answer McCall, your Republic Holding Companies, your First Citizens Bank, your Agostini, your Oscar Francois, because it's still two companies although it's one owner. That's what they have there for. Or maybe get them a tax break to do it. But apparently, you just had $2.8 million to, yeah. A Diego Martin pensioner was robbed and assaulted. Of course, this is increasing, as I said, over and over. As people become more desperate, they will take things into their own hands. And it seems that pensioners are becoming easy targets. The timing of the robberies, however, a little bit off, because at the time of this newspaper, the pensioner wouldn't have gotten the government pension. So I don't know if they have a real big NIS, or if it is this person marking some of the income that they have. But either way, they're being targeted. And on social media, I have also seen reports of Princess Tong mansions being robbed and some other person being robbed. So we see how it goes. Yeah. But of course, as Daddy Rowley said, if we are able to feel these distresses, we should be grateful, because it means that we are alive and Corona has not taken us. Anyway, the next piece of shit that stood out to me is that apparently HGC advertising for someone to install cameras and monitoring systems along HGC's properties for a 3-year contract. Question: Ministry of National Security is renting at the tune of $20,000 to $50,000 dollars per month per camera, depending on if the camera could swivel and where it's located. Why is it that whatever contract that is can't bleed over into this one? How is it that the business community know about economies of scale, but the government community, what is this? Black peopleness, like I want mine because it's my ministry. Then pay for it now? I don't understand. And where you want to monitor anyway? Don't you have on all of these properties a little HGC office that nobody does be in, that somebody's supposed to be in? Monitoring. Is it that you're gonna fire them? I hope you're gonna fire them. I hope that's where the money coming from. to pay, for this. I don't get it. I don't get it. And don't we have a Ministry of IT or something? Yeah, I know that their mandate is to bring the government apparently IT ready, but they ain't doing that anyway. So, and the last minister said that how it is what it's almost impossible to do so, and a whole bunch of stuff and all of that. And the ministries first have to be taught how to work with each other, right? So, in other words, she had time. The cheapest way you could do this is by hiring an outside firm. It have no government resources that could simply be used for whatever this activity is. And and why is this activity a priority exactly when you have numerous repairs inside tenants' homes, which the cameras can monitor? Because I thought let's are leaving out the perimeter and stuff, because let's say the camera is to protect the investments on the exterior because tenants or whoever vandalizing or taking it. What about the numerous tenants like me that have been waiting for years for certain repairs, that literally get to watch the decomposition of a kitchen cupboard because I am determined not to fix it on my own. So I get to literally watch the decomposition from wood to dirt. It's pretty and it yields mushrooms and stuff. But, I always say that the best people to put in government or the people that should be in charge of the budget should be poor people. Because, like these rich, educated ones. Oh, you thought I was going to say something after the rich, educated ones? Oh, okay. No, I. Mm. So we're moving on to the twinkle in Daddy Sing's eye, the parallel healthcare system. They have finally included more of our 111 facilities into it. But quick question, since children have been home from nursery to tertiary, and the government has actual physical buildings from nursery to tertiary, how come they were not used as part of this parallel healthcare system? Don't get me wrong. Hey. Of course, the hospitals are better equipped, but since it is we having field hospitals and all this shit, why I don't know. Why wouldn't the schools used, or how come they weren't used as step down centers, or plus wouldn't that also have been socially better? I mean, yeah, I know that they chose the hospital because it's beautiful and all kind of damn shit. Because I don't know if they told people would be on vacation, but if it is, either way, I'm not going to take that away from them. They put some thought in and they had best intentions. But why wouldn't the schools consider that just vacant now for what, over a year? Sure, when it's time to reopen, they're going to get a hell of a lot in repairs though. And only when it's time to reopen. And of course, the next time that they reopen, it will close soon after because we'll then need to have PTA meetings and teachers training workshops. Nevertheless, Augustus Long Hospital, whatever that is, unless it's the correct name for St. Anne's, Remo General Hospital, Point Fortin, Scarborough Regional, and Scarborough General are all added to the parallel healthcare system. However, at the time of reading this newspaper, less than 300 people were at the hospitals and 10,000 people were active cases. Now, these active case shit, right? You should know that once it is you get sick and you go and you say as sick, they saying they do not COVID test and you're becoming one of these statistics. And then you're supposed to quarantine until you get your results, and somehow the results taking 2 weeks to come back. So whether or not you had COVID, you're part of the statistic. Just bear that in mind. And I know that from first, second, and third hand accounts. Yeah, getting a little investigative-ish up in this rant. Well, I keep bitching about the newspaper, so obviously at some point I'm going to start to push my ass out and get additional information. And I do know people that had COVID, and those were their responses. Several people, actually, and we had one death, for which I'm deeply sorry. The next one is that police were called in for COVID control in Marabella Market because all of the other markets were closed, so people need food. So they flocked to Marabella in their tents. Even the regular people to the market have never seen that. Erin Roadman. Oh, we're moving on. That's the end of that story. Fortunately, nobody was really bullied. The police maintained the crowd control. We don't have any contact tracing back to there. Erin Roadman was stabbed by a security guard over a mask dispute. Sorry, I read that totally wrong. So let's do that again. The security guard was working in a grocery. The man refused to wear his mask, and when the security guard come and tell him up, 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 he say "fuck you" and he stab him. Guess he was a bit frustrated, but his anger was misdirected. Again, slaves fighting amongst themselves when they should be trying to stab master. This rant does not advocate violence against anyone, especially our political leaders. 10 were charged, however, for drinking in public in South. Obviously, people are frustrated. 10. And I don't remember the article actually being direct as to, because I read the papers and I put these points down and then I do the rants. So yeah, I don't remember all 10 of them being together like a line. To me it was 10 people in the southern area. And they were also just charging you for drinking on the road. There was even a social video circulating in Corpus Christi, with a police dude just stopping to antagonize somebody sitting down on the boundary of their property. I wouldn't even say in front of the property because when the video started, he was 100% shielded by the actual posts that would be for his gate. Probably taking shade. It's unusual for somebody to be sitting down there, so either he had really bad gas, was fed up of being inside, was angry with somebody inside, angry with maybe the neighbor, and is like, "You're gonna see me." Or I don't know. The only other thing I could have think of is if they were incognito, maybe washing cars or something, but the floor wasn't wet. It had no equipment outside, so. And there was very little audio, but it only did suggest that maybe perhaps it was personal. So, 10 were charged for drinking, and it could really be that they were literally drinking in the road. The next one is that P&M stalwart dies from COVID, but she went to the hospital for shingles. Apparently she was this big thing in P&M and, she could have just light up the room and all of this with her 70-year-old self. And she got shingles and died. A part of me thinks that she's so much of a P&M, she would have asked them to please attribute her death to the fight. So make it a statistic towards the fight against COVID. But yes. May she rest in peace all the same. And you can inform the police of your intended movement during the curfew. I personally feel that this is more of you should not ask for permission because they would stop you and take note of it, and you should apologize. However, if it is you do need medical attention or something legitimate, not like if you're trying to walk your dog or take a quick run like me, or have any other social issue that is just not important right now because of COVID. As long as it's something other than that, you should really call them, because what they will do is tell them Beverly, police badge number 6969, tell you to go forth, and then you're good to go. So the numbers are 612-3876. That is 612-3876, 684-5730. That is 684-5730, and 5076, and 5035, and 5233, and the last one is 486-2000. Remember, this is a recorded rant. If you didn't get it, you could just hit, a little back shot. Next point is Mahathir Motilal was charged $200 for disorderly conduct and $600 for resisting arrest. He saw the police talking to a motorist, crossed the road, and inserted himself. I did think that he was really frustrated with police, and that's why he got involved to the tune of $800. These are not things to be taken lightly, and these are not things that are normally in the papers. These are symptoms of social issues that could become something very serious. Very serious. But hey, I can't even really say that he tried to talk to the police because he crossed the road and asked them why it is they can't just leave innocent people alone. So in other words, you come to party. You come fit. Yeah. Then interestingly, a maximum security prisoner dies from COVID. How the fuck that happen? How did that happen? Who come in the prison to see him with COVID and him alone? Nobody else. But nobody cares, nobody go and investigate it, not suspicious to anybody, it not And then I see beloved Suriname flip-flop because they were saying we ain't gonna do no lockdown, we'll do a little state of emergency. But now they're gonna do a lockdown, but for only 2 weeks. There is an oxygen shortage, there is a general hospital shortage, 282 people have died, but it is out of 600,000 inhabitants. And the Netherlands have gifted them 500,000 vaccines, while China 100,000. So I also believe that during their 2-week lockdown, they will be trying to, push the 600,000 vaccines, which makes complete sense, and then they'll jump back out. So I think that is perfect use of a lockdown. Perfect strategy, perfect everything. Yeah, and with people not mingling, virus will go down, you take your shot, we come back out, we try again at life. Yeah. South Africa is also on lockdown. Well, all black people seem to be dealing with it the same. Maybe it's some kind of genetic, cultural disposition to deal with certain things the same way. Because have you ever realized how very similar soca and what is it, Afrobeats or wherever they call themselves, how similar they sound and how similar the dancing is as well? Of course, one influenced one, but look at how far and removed and split they were. Yet still, look at how similar. And both countries have the same corrupt, shitty type of leaders anyway. So some things just seem to be passed down, to me anyway. Or maybe it's because it has the same origins. Maybe that's the big mystery. It's as simple as that. It just has the same source, so it will bear the same or similar characteristics. Volunteer members of the Defense Force were called out to serve. I'm not entirely sure why, what the issue was. Maybe we have extra money that they just want to pay people. But yeah, they were called out to serve. A laborer died after confronting an ex and her new boyfriend. So he won the girl back, going down the road, see she talking to the new man, who she living with by the way, on the staircase in front of the apartment. Confront the man, cuss him. The man get up and went inside or run inside. He run behind the man with a knife and come back out, stab. Because the man inside the house take the knife from him and stab him, tell him get out of my place. And now, may he rest in peace. Now, there's a sad story, but the first time I read it, I did laugh. And if you laugh, we horrible together. This is somebody's son, though, so, rest in peace. And dudes, with your broken heart and thing, go and jock. Don't be doing shit like this now. Fuck your hand, fuck it hard, mercilessly. Take it out. What he asked, what, now you're dead. And she's still fucking him. A best one too, because now he proved what he's like a defender or something. He's like an avenger. And you dead. You realize that, right? It had all these other pussy you could have sampled. But now you're dead. Well, hopefully it was good and maybe you could get some heavenly head. Fishermen see a boat with 14 decomposing bodies and bring it ashore. I have no idea why. That seems like something that you must just mind your own business. The Coast Guard see it, all kind of people see it, but all you see it and all you bring it in. Anyway, the story goes that the boat come from somewhere quite down in Africa, and it seems that they're dead at sea, and currents and stuff just bring them here. Lucky us. Lucky us. But, maybe I'm being crass and we are inherently good. So that was the goodness instinct. What would you do? Tell us in the comments. Would you leave the boat? I would leave the damn boat. But would you leave the boat? Would you pull them? Bear in mind, everybody on the boat already dead. That doesn't really seem to be something to get my ass involved in. I don't even know what Ubia this is. What killed them? You never see a horror movie. Jamaica to launch a digital currency. I have no idea what that means, but it's something that you're not going to be printing shit. And you will have, like, I know Bitcoin and Jamaica coin. It's something futuristic to me. Step in the right direction. Actually, yeah, there are a lot of futuristic things about them, Just their lockdown shit and the draconian curfew. But they have a kind of cantankerous, aggressive people, so maybe they need aggressive, cantankerous leader. I know, but Jamaica scares me. Alright, so those were all of the articles that stood out in this reading of the newspaper. I didn't really have a great point or rhyme or reason to this one, just, it is what it fucking is. Yep. Whatever you're doing in your life, if you have the ability to make a difference for you, your family, for someone else, fucking do it. Life is hard as it is. It is hard. Even if it is you have money and you're rich, you have your own different degree of hardness. You know what you have? High class hardness, right? Because you have different situations. You need your diamonds to sparkle and you just can't get your diamonds to sparkle and everybody laughing at your diamonds. It feels the same way. You live in a community with Jordans, you need a Jordans. It's the same thing repeated over and over. Life is fucking hard. If you have the ability to make someone's life easier, do it. And if everyone is doing that, maybe it will get easier. Thank you for tuning into this edition of Richard's Rant. Have a great rest of your day. Subscribe to the vibe and comment towards our betterment vibes.